we had a women's tag team match. Booker T says something, now give me a sandwich. What did he say? He said,
That's a combination like peanut butter and jelly, dog. Give me a sandwich.
I don't know, just how that like came out of nowhere. Just pause. That shit had me dying.
If you in there, nigga, I'm ghost.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you want to see the full live stream that this video is from, click the link in the description down below. But before we get into this, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get it. I don't even know what I'm gonna be calling this, bro. I have no idea what I'm about to be calling this. We gonna come up with a name. Oh, I think I was gonna go with Hill something blah blah blah. Cause I mean, I don't use Snapchat anymore, but my Snapchat name had Hill on it. And you know, I could, you know, use that as somewhat of the name. But you know, we're gonna break these down. Not really break it down, but in the future break these down. Well, we just kind of, you know, got a couple things from NXT. NXT is the main thing that I was talking about, because that's when I was actually doing this. But first match we had, if you haven't already, go watch the video when I said so I started watching wrestling again. So some of these, you know, especially NXT, some of these people I haven't heard of, and so these are basically first impressions, as well as a lot of like AEW. And I give a few notes on AEW, because you know, started watching main roster shows first, then NXT, and then AEW. But NXT, that's finna drop. You know what I'm saying? They finna go live in about 40 minutes. But first match, Tiffany Stratton and Fallon Henley. Let's see if I can find that. I was trying to figure out what it was. I seen a video. It was like how much or how to put a wrestling ring together, and I was like, oh, I remember something I had written down a note like, oh, was this a botch? But it was during this match, and it looked like a little curtain botch. Let's see if I can find that joint. Well, I said that. At the end of the match, when she got the mop, and then threw the trash on her. Listen, I gotta get my get back. I can't let that slide. But hold on. It's no big deal. I just, you know what I'm saying, it was just something that I noticed. I think I was doing the timestamps to last week's stream while this was happening, and I just looked over. I was like, hold on, what the fuck? But next match, not a next match. It was a little backstage segment, and I wrote down Mello's a lot of fake friends nowadays, where they're like, yeah, I got your back, but really they plotted on you. Like you just lost in the tournament against Kevin Owens for the US title. I don't know if that's, hey, you're back on NXT, and then maybe you might. It was seeming like, hey, you're getting pulled up to the main roster, but it could possibly be like, hey, this is like your last story in NXT before you're actually moved to the main roster. But oh, hey, I'm there, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? He's your day one. Man, that's cap. That's cap, Your Honor. Try to turn it into a triple threat. Like, bro, we already know what you was trying to do. Oh, I just wanted to blah blah blah. Oh yeah, man, I get you. We had Dragunov doing a promo. I'm gonna be honest. When Ridge Holland, when he pushed up, that nigga looked like security. I'm gonna be honest. I thought that nigga was security. I'm like, hold on, what's going on, bro? You gotta see man's outfit. Hold on. That's the little backstage segment. When he first pulled up, I thought man's was security. The outfit just was looking like security at first. Next match, Lennox versus, listen, my handwriting sloppy as shit, versus Lexis King. I'm not really too big on Lexis King, but his entrance, that shit's fire, bro. His entrance is fire. How he come through, just chilling on the throne. That shit clean. You know, I do like the ring gear. My main critique for a lot of WWE recently, from what I've seen being back, I'm gonna talk about it later, but it doesn't really, a lot of things don't stand out for me. So with this one, I said neither of them really stood out to me. We had a women's tag team match. Booker T says something, now give me a sandwich. What did he say? Oh, he said,
That's a combination like peanut butter and jelly, dog. Give me a sandwich.
I don't know, just how that like came out of nowhere. Just pause. That shit had me dying. I put JC seems entertaining. Thea Hale seems interesting. Could get old. Where they lost because she thought she made the legal woman tap. And Kiana James, she seems, interesting. See, that's the thing where it's like, it's not just wrestling. Where like you can, it's about, the storylines. It's like I don't watch UFC and boxing. I mean, I may watch like a fight every now and then, but like I don't really watch it like that. And okay, hey, this person might be good. Like it might be like a Mike Tyson in his prime type shit. Okay, I'm here for the story, and like it's all about every single aspect. So that's why I said about the Lexis King match, like it didn't stand out. Sure, like okay, hey, we can say this is decent wrestling, but besides his entrance, he doesn't really stand out to me. But speaking of storylines, I don't know how long it's been a storyline, but that's one thing. The one thing I didn't really care about for anytime I watch NXT is the little Chase U stuff. The only interesting things is like that I've seen so far is they had someone who was in Chase U and then their story seemed a little bit cool. I think that was the match that we just had. I think that started last week and she was like trying to talk to someone and then they made that match official because of that backstage segment. Dragon Lee. He was in a triple threat match. I put Dragon Lee stay taking like 2-time suplexes. Bro took so many like not like regular suplexes throughout the match. Oh hey, someone's about to suplex and then the person goes over a power bomb, or hey, 2 people are on top and Dragon Lee's on top of the suplex. He took at least 3 or 4 of those that match, bro. Someone was under the ring with a little Christmas sweater looking like it's Nightmare on Elm Street. They crawling under like they Freddy with it. And then LWO saves Dragon Lee. Next match. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. I can't even see these names. Javion Heights. I guess Luca someone. Seems good in ring. Ring work, doesn't really have a lot of personality. What do I mean by that? Okay. Next match we have Nikita Lyons. Her first singles match since she's been out. Versus Tatum Paxley. I said Tatum has personality. And I put Nikita Lyons in the corner. Should it be me? You already know what I'm talking about. Anytime she posts a clip, does a little pin or anytime there's like certain clips, you already got those comments talking about it should have been me. But what I mean by that is ring work does not have a lot of personality. Is, for instance, John Cena has his 5 knuckle shuffle. You can't see me. The Rock has his, his people's elbow. Randy Orton, you know what I'm saying, banging on the mat, or certain people doing certain certain taunts in the ring. When it's just like, oh hey, yeah, we do this and then we flip over and then do that. Yeah, it's cool and all. Like, okay, it's a good match, but especially if I'm not getting backstage segments, I don't necessarily care that much. Like, it's kind of ironic where I'm like, the times when I'm like, oh, hey, these matches have some personality, I remember them. Like, for instance, Lexus King, the only thing I remember his entrance and I remember his rain gear. That one didn't stand out. Or the match previous, I didn't even remember the first guy's name, bro. Cause it says, listen, on my paper it says Luca. So I don't know if it was Luca and I didn't get the last name, or Lucas and I didn't finish writing it. I remember what it was, but I don't remember. Same thing. Next match. Gallus versus Hank and Tank. The only note I put was didn't really care. There was nothing that stood out to me. Ridge Holland versus Dragunov. I don't know if they done it in the past. This is one thing I did in the video I said, so I started watching wrestling again. I noticed AEW did his picture-in-picture. The first AEW program that I saw was Edge going against or Adam Copeland going against Christian Cage. I started watching it as that was going on. Because I didn't know the time slots or what to look up until I actually looked it up, and then one was playing at that time. And that's one thing that I was noticing, that they were like, oh, after this picture break, and then you can still see the match. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I like that. So that's one thing I noted when I did the So I Started Watching Wrestling video again when it came to AEW. And they did it with this one. I don't know if they kept it in this when what's it called? When AEW puts up their program after it's not live anymore. It doesn't, like, it skips the picture-in-picture break. I guess that's the thing with the advertisements. So let me see if this one actually does it, or if it takes it out, because I'm watching this is on Hulu. It's looking like it skipped it. All right. So I just put WWE's first picture-in-picture break ? I don't know if that's the case. It's the first time I've noticed it. And granted, I can't watch SmackDown live, so it could be a thing where it's taken out. Oh, why can't you watch SmackDown live? Go check out So I Started Watching Wrestling video. Now, I put, you already know how that match ended. Now, people were saying this at work. I don't know. This is all I remember. At the time this was going on, I don't really care for Dragunov that much. Not like as a person, but like wrestling and his gimmick or whatever. But like there's certain things I like, certain things that I'm like, I'm not too big on. And so at the time this was going on, I had it playing, and then like, oh, that was a cool, okay, all right. just paying attention, all right? But I was cooking at the same time. So I literally was like, oh, okay, it's almost done. Went to turn off my fire. No, he did a little move. And I was like, okay, all right, he's probably about to go for a pin. I got time to turn off the fire on the stove. Turned off the fire, turned around, and then I see Brody's arm like this. And I'm like, what the fuck was going on? And you just hear the whole, like, everyone getting quiet. And then he's rushed off in a stretcher. I'm like, oh yeah, that's tough. But they made sure to have the clip up, you know what I'm saying? They made sure to have the clips up fast as shit, though. Hey, man. It might be a work, probably is. The only thing that I wrote here for SmackDown was the four women's tag match was cool. It was pretty cool, man. I think in the middle or at the beginning it was not the greatest, but like towards the end I was like, hold on, this pretty lit. But I didn't write much for SmackDown, but I did. Hold on, 'cause some of these things I got on the phone. I only had mostly NXT on this piece of paper. I needed to get a spiral notebook so I can actually make it easier for me. Now, AEW. So far, I'm messing with Toni Storm. I don't know how she's in the ring. I haven't ever seen her in the ring. But that's the thing when I was talking about personality. Even if they keep up the certain like persona in the ring, that's something that's cool. So she has this whole timeless, persona or character or whatever. I'm like, hold on, this is pretty interesting. When she's some funny moments. One thing that I remember is when she went down to do announcement. I was like, okay, because I already seen her when she was commentating during the Ruby Soho and Riho match, and she's like, oh, I need my close-up, and then had it cut to her and it's black and white. I was like, who is this? That was my first interaction with her. And then when she went down the commentary, I was like, oh no, we can have this could be, because I started, that was another one where I started watching in the middle of it. Like I started watching as that match was going on. And so I was like, okay, I can actually see her whole commentary throughout this whole match. And then the first things that were said, Taz was like, oh, there's my favorite something. I forgot what he said. And then she was like, oh, and you're my or I think he said, oh, basically like, say, hey, blah blah blah, introductions, yada yada yada. And then he said, you're my favorite, blah blah blah. And she was like, and you're my favorite landlord. And then like it was kind of like a slight pause, and then she was like, they call you the human duplex machine, right? That was funny. I guess we'll go over to Collision. Oh, hey man, I gotta say it. Now this is not something where it's like, hey, I don't see any value. You're gonna have to get what I'm saying. Okay. I turned in 4 minutes late. So basically, when it was happening, I was going downstairs to eat, and so by the time like I got the TV on, and I think I finished, what was it, Saturday? No, I didn't stream. I finished recording something, and then went downstairs, and then cut it on. It was 8:04, so it was in the middle of a match. Claudio versus Brian Danielson. When I was 4 minutes late. When I started it, it looked like a botch. It looked like it was already boom botch. And I said, I'm not really big on a little slow-mo submission back and forth with them. Had some cool moments, but wasn't worth it. Everyone was eating it up. And what I mean by that is like, oh, there's some moments where like, oh yeah, that was good. I like that. But what I mean by this is like, when I turned it on, it looked like it was a mistake, and not turning it on, but like what was happening in the room was a mistake, and also like he was trying to do something and like, and it looked like, you know, he was just letting him try to do the move instead of, oh hey, I do the move so quickly that like, even if this person's this time's bigger than me, like I did it so quickly that he didn't even see it coming, and then boom, and now you're in the submission move. So it's kind of like he was just sitting there, and then Claudio's letting him grab his arms, even though this is someone who's been quoted as surprisingly strong, and obviously we know it's, you know, scripted, whatever, but still, I'm just saying, like, it, the appeal of it looks, not necessarily looks real, but like looks like it could be plausible. And so he was just sitting there for a good like 15 seconds, like trying to, and then I think he went and did something else, and I was like, okay. And then they're doing, you know, just going back and forth trying to do some things. I was, oh, that's a cool moment. Okay, that's a cool moment. And then it went back to like the slow mo. And then, you know, I liked when they did the little thing, and it was like 1, 2, and then they both, you know, did the little bridge. See, you know, it was cool, but I just feel like some of those cool moments weren't worth it for some of the lesser parts of that, if that makes sense. And then I put L referee for not seeing the rope break. And then I put, was it supposed to be a draw, question mark? Because it was looking like there was like a pause, like after he was supposed to basically get the 3 count at the end, and he was looking like, oh, that was a mistake type shit. But yeah, the referee, like, he's sitting there. This is the action going on. The rope is right there, and you can see clear as day the rope's right there. So he gets all close, and then you can clearly see him pointing to the rope, and then he was like, bro, you can clearly see the rope, dude. You can clearly see his foot is on the rope. If y'all wanted to do that, y'all could have done that better. The acclaimed trios defending their titles look pretty lit. I think I wasn't a fan like the first like minute, but you know what I'm saying, it started looking pretty lit, especially later on towards the match, from my recollection. I put Keith Lee got a fire theme. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that shit it was like I am or some shit like that, bro. I don't remember. I'm just imagining like hearing that actually in the arena. That gotta get you hype. Like, I'm gonna be honest, he was showing this little backstage segments. I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't really like big mans and like wrestling. I don't even like the high flyers. I like the people who can do high flying, but like can do good ring work. I like the Shawn Michaels. I like the Dolph Zigglers. Like, for instance, when there was a Shield, everyone was liking Dean Ambrose. I was like, at the time I was liking Seth Rollins, and the company wanted Roman Reigns. So the backstage segments, I'm like, yo, you got this big boy over here. I'm not really too crazy on it. And then his theme came on. I was like, hold on, who's this? It's pretty fire. And then it was him. I was like, oh, okay. So I mean, granted, I was not still like about the match, but you know, it got me, you know, feeling somewhat hype. I put cringe commentary trying to use popular lingo. He said Daniel Garcia is fighting like the rent is due. You've never said that a day in your life. I could just tell you've never said that. You've maybe practiced that once or twice that day, and maybe heard someone say it once. you probably just read that comment in a video and decided, hey, I'm going to say this on commentary during this match. And then he said something. I forgot what he said, but he was like, he tried the Riz or whatever. I was like, and he didn't say it right. I was like, bro, what are you doing? And I don't even think that was like, hey, that's a joke thing. Because they would have commented on how he said it wrong then and there. But they waited till like we went to break and then came back and was on a different match to finally be like, oh, hey, you said this wrong. Yo. It's like that one person who like wears like younger clothes, if that makes sense, like trying to be cool. It's like, bro, you're 60, stop it. Like in that dressing situation. Two signs. I put two signs are lit. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay. Pretty sure this was AEW. It'd be like 1, 2, and then it won't be 3, and then everyone would throw up like their two signs. I don't know if that's that specific venue they did that, or maybe they're starting to do that, or that's a reoccurring thing. But that was pretty cool. All right. So one thing that I said overall is, I said too many tournaments to get a real feel. Now, what do I mean by that? Like how I said, there has to be some sort of, like earlier when I talked about personality or whatever. And what did I say? I said, I don't think I wrote it down, but how it's like, there's not really backstage segments and stuff like that. Not watching like, UFC or boxing or something like that. I want to see like the story. There's too many tournaments going on to really get invested in anyone. Like, the only people I have, like right now, if I had people to turn to that I've known before, okay, obviously CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns is not really, I mean, he's been there for 2 appearances since I've been watching, so like he's been there 50% of the time, but I heard he's usually there less. Randy Orton, AJ Styles is back, and then the Usos. And then, I can get into a little bit of Cody Rhodes, get into a little bit of Shinsuke Nakamura, get into a little bit of Drew McIntyre. But there's not, well, and there's The Miz, but, he's coming off like 2 losses against Gunther. But let's say we take those out of the equation, people that I already knew. Let's say if I'm going into it and I don't know who those people are. Like, maybe I hear about a Randy Orton and a Roman Reigns, and John Cena's not there anymore, but maybe I hear about those names, so like I know somewhat about them. There's not like people who are mid cards or every now and then get into the main event scene. Like, there's not those names that I said, besides like well, I guess the only people that you can kind of say are like legendary status from those are like so far is Randy Orton and AJ Styles. Other people, they still have to put in their 10 more years to really get to that status. But if you can't show any personality in the ring, I don't know much about you. Oh, hey, yeah, that person, I mean, he wrestled good. The other people wrestled good before him too. So when I say too many tournaments, there's not enough backstage segments to really get invested. So it's like The Rock and Stone Cold going head to head, like they can talk all they want to each other. But if they're just in like a tournament, obviously it's like, oh, hey, we're put in this tournament, we're going to go against each other. Okay, it might be an interesting match. Some people might want The Rock to win. Some people might Stone Cold to win. But like, you're not gonna. There's not gonna be any story. Oh, you're just talking shit. Okay, let's see. First, we had when I started, which was basically a week or two before NXT deadline. You had to qualify for the Iron Survivor. You had a tournament for that. You had the Breakout Star tournament. You have the tournament for the U.S. Championship. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure we had a tournament for men's and women's tag team titles. And then on AEW, you have this Continental tournament. So, like for instance, AEW, besides you have this little devil storyline and then MJF and Samoa Joe, I don't know about any beef. Well, I know there's, yeah, and another thing with AEW, I don't know if there was a tournament for the women's championship. All I know is Ruby. I don't know if it was like, hey, this match was created and then blah blah blah, or hey, it's a tournament. Ruby Soho lost to Riho, and then Saraya lost to Riho, and so now she's the number one contender. Or hey, she won those two matches, or if there's matches previous, and now she's the number one contender. So I don't know if there's a tournament going into that. So that one and the women's tag team championships, we'll put a pause on those because I don't know for sure. But the ones I know for sure was the qualifier for Iron Survivor, NXT Breakout Star, U.S. Championship, and the AEW, I think they Triple Crown, I think they're calling it. So it's like you have all these tournaments. So let's say you watching, we're going next on a tournament. We don't have to do some backstage segment to like hype up the match. Like, I mean, we could do like a little 1 minute thing, but it's not like you wronged me because of this way and this is why I want to get at you. We don't have to do that. Hey, we could both be baby faces and be like, hey, you know, may the best person win. Like, just know that you're not ready. And that's all we gotta say. Something like that. Okay, I don't know anything about your character. I don't know anything about your storyline. None of that. Because honestly, that's probably why. That's probably why. I was like, dang. I remember someone saying something about like, you know, women's wrestling now, and I was like, yeah, blah blah. But since I came back, that's been the most entertaining. Why? Because there's been a lot of men's tournaments going on recently, so I don't know anything about the characters. And then even when they have these tournaments, especially when you're trying to be the breakout star, bro, you better bring some character into your ring work, bro. You better have like some sort of like taunts and moves that can really get over. But yeah, hey, I'm a leave it with that one. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. NXT is probably dropping right now, bro. It's 8 o'clock. Thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned for the next one, and I'm out. Peace.